Welcome to another edition of Cal's Corner Radio here on the X Zone Broadcast Network. My name is Kal Korff, and I'm your host. And of course, the executive producer of the show is the one and only Rob McConnell. Folks, we've been off the air for a couple of weeks only because there's been some upgrades going on and some stuff like that. We recently celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the show. Remember, we launched originally from the Middle East in the city of Abu Dhabi. And we broadcast from other parts around the world, including India and the United States. Wherever we need to do it, we're going to get it done. And keep in mind, as I say in every episode here, that we cover everything from politics to the paranormal, which of course is a wide variety of subjects. Well, today, I'm happy to report that we're not even going to talk about politics or the paranormal. Need a break from that stuff. But since we cover everything from politics to the paranormal, there's a lot of subjects in between that spectrum there. One of which is acting, Hollywood, all that other fun stuff. I have with us, I'm honored to report, a very special guest. Her name is Johanna Rae, and she was born in Fayetteville, Arkansas. She's an actress. She's an American actress, so she's a fellow American. As a teenager, Johanna was a champion track star. She went on to become a Division I track and field athlete. She trained at the Ruskin School of Acting under John Ruskin himself, and she currently studies at the Stan Kirsch Studios. Johanna enjoys maintaining her athleticism by running and studying various martial arts. So, guys, if you even think about messing with her, because she's beautiful, don't even do it. She'll kick your butt, and you'll deserve it. And what's interesting about her, she's not only a rising star in Hollywood, very independent type, very wonderful outgoing personality, but she's also gone into movie production, and she'll talk about that because we'll ask her questions about that. So you must remember that while a lot of people, they like to be actors and wonderful things like that, in her case, she not only does acting, but again, she's doing producing. And that is, again, a very rare bird where a person does more than just acting. Acting itself is challenging enough. But I can tell you, as somebody who's done that and producing, to be able to do the whole 9 yards, that's just really challenging. It's a dream come true if you can do it, be successful, and get away with it. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Johanna Rae, and she'll be our guest for the entire show here. Johanna, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Johanna here. I am in Los Angeles, and I'm excited to be on the show and talk to you guys and everyone out there.
We're glad to have you.
Yes.
Johanna, let's start from the beginning. You are in Hollywood, of course. That's to be expected. But you grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So what was it like growing up where you grew up in Fayetteville?
Well, we pronounce it Fayetteville.
Fayetteville, okay.
Fayetteville. I'm actually 20 miles south of Fayetteville in a very small town called Winslow, Arkansas. I'm in a very rural area. I graduated with 12 people in my graduating class. The entire K through 12th grade had maybe 350 students. And
Wow.
I'm a list of 6 children. I grew up in a large family. I grew up very untraditional. In fact, it's pretty cool. My father was just on a show, Ben Boggle, in the UK called New Lives in the Wild. And my father, he was one of the pioneers in the 60s and 70s that was just like moved out of the city. And basically we have 200 acres, and he got 200 acres. He built his entire, everything from he's a log cabin maker. So we had solar when I was a child. So I grew up like a little bit like ahead of like the curve, and it was like, well, my house runs off solar. So yeah, it was very different. I grew up with like I said, there's only 10 years between me and the baby in the family. So a very large family. And today, I think that had a lot to do with who I am today. Of course, it just keeps me very humble because my father, like, we didn't grow up with a TV for a while, for instance. We didn't have a TV. I had the radio, and then like I would go to my grandparents and watch, or my aunts and watch movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
when you were young watching movies at your grandmother's, was there any type of movies any genre that attracted you in particular?
Okay, so I probably didn't watch these at my grandmother's. My parents, I would watch the movies my parents watched. I don't know if it's because I'm the oldest of all the children, but like I wasn't really censored. So like I grew up like I remember seeing like Raging Bull, The Godfather, Alien, RoboCop, like these type of films, which today I'm like I don't know if I would let an 8-year-old watch those films, but I don't know. That's like the type of films I would grow up, and I just was very intrigued and was lost in the story and enjoyed them.
Hmm.
So I would say like drama and action. Like I remember being 10 watching Basic Instinct.
That's
So
an interesting movie to watch as a 10-year-old.
yeah, but I don't know. I think being the oldest of a large family, you become you mature faster. As far
Of
as
course.
it's interesting. As far as like I didn't grow up watching like the typical Disney films when I was young.
Hmm.
I actually
Okay.
really enjoy those today. Like the Pixar films, I think they're amazing. I think one of the first films I watched when I was very young was like Black Beauty. That was the type of film. I love like drama films and comedy, but I would say drama and biopics and docudramas were like really some of my favorites. And
Okay.
action, Alien. When I was like 9 or 10, I would just watch Alien over and over and over.
Okay, let's talk about this for a moment because maybe there's a connection between that and your current releases, which we'll get to in a few moments. So here you are, 9 or 10 years old. You're seeing the movie Aliens. Now I assume you mean the first one,
The first,
uh,
yes,
and maybe the second one done by
yeah,
James Cameron.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, and then you've watched Basic Instinct, which is a very different film. Uh, when you saw the difference, say, between Basic Instinct and, say, Aliens, done by James Cameron, who's a wonderful, incredible director, I wish him the best of luck in his new Terminator installment he's doing. What were your thoughts as a young kid when you saw these contrasts? How did you think about, well, wow, this movie's so different? What were your thoughts on things like that?
I was just really caught up in the suspense of both of the films.
Hmm.
First of all, both the films are very well done. The performances are amazing. So I think those are very key elements in a film to me. Is like when I'm watching it, it has to be the story has to make sense. The
Hmm.
performances have to be really well done, and just the script. And so if I can be lost in the story and the performance, that's really what it was for me. And I was just like intrigued, and it felt like I felt like this is something that could really happen. Like
Hmm.
imagination. I think that's where it was for me.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think if you watch a movie and it gets you in such a way where you say, I can believe it, not in a literal sense, but I can relate to the plot or just somehow identify with it or can envision it. I think you're right. That's part of the hook because you mentioned something earlier about you weren't sure whether you'd let kids today see some of the movies you did back then. I'll tell you, I was surprised, for example, when I saw Avengers 4. I was surprised because between that and Deadpool, it seems like there's nothing held back from the kids anymore.
Yeah, I think like it is very interesting. The kids now with just the technology and everything, it's so fast. In fact, like if I have a question about my computer and need to know something, I'm gonna call like a 14-year-old up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you help me with this?
Yeah, it saves you a trip to the dentist. I understand that.
And I
Um,
don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing because the reason I don't think it really is a bad thing because whenever I was younger and I was exposed to things, I could tell what was good and bad. Like I could decipher that, and I feel like if that was hidden from me, I would be not know and want to do certain things because
you're right. You're right about that. Ignorance is not automatically bliss.
right, it is not. So I feel like if I grew like very censored and sheltered, it might have like coming to LA on my own, it might have been not like really that good. But like whenever I don't know. It's just like I knew that like murdering somebody is wrong. Like lighting
Mhm.
something, hurting, saying something bad was wrong. But I knew that stuff happened too, so it made me aware of it. So I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know if like it's interesting. I don't know.
Well, I think you're right. I think there's a fine line to walk. You don't want to expose young kids to so-called adult type material like X-rated movies or whatever. But on the other hand, you don't want them thinking that unicorns are real beyond a certain age.
You know,
That's just unhealthy.
think you want to normalize things. Like if someone sees something so much, it becomes normal. But also, if you don't let someone know. Like, I mean, I think at my age, I probably learned about sex from watching movies, and I wasn't really like parents at that time were kind of like didn't talk about it, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think
Yeah.
I think you're right. I of course have no idea what it's like in being a young kid today, but it seems to me, especially on that subject, that kids are probably coming home and asking their mom, "Hey, what about this?" Or they hand them the smartphone and say, "Mom, what about this video?" And then the parents have to explain it. You know.
People are very innovative. They're just like, I'm really amazed, like, it's the technology, and just like they have their hands on the pulse of everything. So it's like they really like are aware of things. It's very interesting. I think it's pretty awesome. I'm excited for the future of that generation, of what they could do.
Yeah, I think there's never been a generation with more potential, and I think in that dynamic, based on history, you've got to be careful because if you don't use that potential properly, you end up with people who believe in crazy things. Like there was a survey of millennials recently where over 20% of them said they're not sure the Earth is round, yet they're using Google Earth. You know, they must think that animation is just for cosmetic purposes. So
Right.
that's kind of scary. And then based on what I hear about politics, I get afraid from some people. But you're right. There's never been a better time to be a kid now. We have the most highly educated young people. More record numbers are in college. Now we have to see if they can apply good old critical thinking. Now, what we're going to do, Johanna, is we're going to take a break in just a moment. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you this question. I want you to think about it over the break. I'm going to ask you the question, why acting? Why did you become an actress? Why acting and not something else? We'll be back after this commercial break with Johanna Rae, our special guest for this show.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back to the second segment here on Kal's Corner Radio here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. My name is Kal Korff and I'm your host, and the executive producer of the show is, of course, Rob McConnell. Now, as you heard in the first segment here, we have for the entire show, ladies and gentlemen, American actress Johanna Rae. And I asked her the question before the commercial break, why acting? Why acting and not some other profession? She's now going to answer that question. Go ahead, Johanna.
Well, I will have to say, I grew up with no TV when I was young. I would read a lot of books. So I think some of the first books I had were like Dracula, The Hobbit, and Gone with the Wind. And I just had a really vivid imagination. And I was in a very small area where there wasn't a lot of like, oh, let's go to dance class, let's do this. And when I would just like read the books and then I would watch the movies. And to me, when I would watch a film can make you think about something. It can make you feel something. And I always had the ability to kind of like motivate people and to me, it's about telling the story of someone, whether they're a good person, a bad person. Everyone has a story, and that is just a really amazing feeling to do that and then have people see that. And you can make people think a lot. You can do a film and you can have a character, and that character can change someone's life. It's like music to me. One song can change your life. Like you can see a character, you can see something and just have that in your mind and see that. So for me, it was that had a lot to do with it. And I just like the experience of like, to me, being in film and being an actor has allowed me to not have judgment on a lot of things without like gathering that knowledge. I'm able to like really relate to a lot of different things. And I think you have to have that ability as an actor, because if you're closed off in a box and you're just one way and you're not experiencing things, it's hard to relate to different people and cultures. And at the end of the day, we are all humans, and we all have the same need for love and that. And I just think with acting and film, you're able to like touch a lot of people without, I'm not a doctor, so I may not find the cure for cancer, and probably not going to, but at the end of the day, I could tell a story that could make someone laugh, and you could touch a lot of people that way. And I think that's an amazing thing to do that. So yeah, that was a lot to do with it, and just my vivid imagination as a child and wanting to be in those places, want to be in space, want to be in Gone with the Wind as Scarlett O'Hara. And a combination of a lot of that. And it's a very challenging, and it challenges you every day. You're never going to be the best at something. There's always going to be someone better than you, and it's always inspiring to see someone doing that's better than you at something too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I understand. So
Yeah.
you naturally gravitated towards it. It was something that just came out from inside you. What was the reaction of your family and your friends when they started to see that you were showing signs of, or started to say, I want to be an actress?
I never told them, because just when there's a helicopter going by, so it might be a little loud. Let's pause for a second. Okay.
Yeah,
I live in Los
yeah.
Angeles. We have lots of helicopters sometimes.
As long as they're not the black ones powered by the men in black, we'll be safe.
So one of the first things I remember doing when I was like 8 or 9, I created this character named Frenchie, and she was from France, and she was visiting America, and she was like kind of like mocking and not understanding why Americans do this. So for like a few weeks in the summer, I just went around this French accent, and we're just like, what is this red list? Like just doing that. And then I remember doing a play, and I was maybe in the 8th grade. We did a play, it was Snow White, and of course all the girls want to be Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be Snow White too. I'm like, I want to be Snow White. I want to be the princess. That's who I want to be. But I didn't get Snow White. I got the witch. But when I got to play the witch, I did the character. It was so fun because you could do so much with that character. Snow White was like this princess. She was a certain way. But I got to have the most evil laugh. And it was exhilarating to me. I loved it. And everyone came up to me like, oh my God, you scared me so much. And so then I went on and I didn't do any acting then. I went to college, ran track. And then one day I just got on a plane, came to LA, and it was like, I'm here. My family, no one understood it. They're just like, what are you doing? You're crazy. So that's kind of like where, like, because back home, it's not like, that's not really something people think about, or it doesn't seem achievable, because LA, Hollywood's so far away, and I was in such a small place. And at that time, people were not making movies off their cell phone or anything.
Right, right.
So yeah,
so
in the
as
last 8 years, things have changed a lot.
So as you were growing up, the Snow White is an example. You don't get the part of the princess. You end up playing the so-called evil witch. It turns out to be better for you because you can do a lot more with the character. You're absolutely right. You can.
Oh yeah, it was exciting. Like I was just like, yes, I get to. Like, I didn't, and I felt like if I was Snow White, I was still kind of being myself. But when I was the evil witch, I was getting to be and have all this energy that like I didn't get to show in life. You know. Being Snow White in life is much more acceptable than being an evil witch.
Yeah, of course. And then you go out to LA, you land there, and you basically say, you got to deal with me now. I'm here. And so now you're in LA, and what happened next? What was it like?
I had no idea what LA was.
Okay.
Wow. I'm from Arkansas and Texas, and we have like, traffic's a lot calmer. So just getting to know LA was one thing. I think the most frustrating part about LA was you would meet people and everyone had something different to tell you. And you were just like thrown in so many directions that you finally were like, I don't even know what is. So that was very hard and challenging. And I went through a very rough time with that. And you start realizing, and then you're like, wait a minute, these people telling me things, they don't even know what they're talking about.
Sometimes it takes a while to figure out the people who don't know what they're talking about.
And that happened to me because this was like 2010 and 9, and this is like internet and stuff was big, but it wasn't like as like things have changed in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, even our smartphones. In 2010, I didn't have a smartphone the way I have one today.
Yeah.
So it was like you meet someone and now it's like, okay, let me just Google you now. Let me see what's going on. So it was very different, and it was hard. It was very hard because you are going to be told by everyone you're not right for something, and then you just got to realize like no one knows what they're talking about. No one knows what they're doing either. I mean, there are a few people that do, but a lot of people tell me they don't.
Well, what's interesting, a couple of points here. I understand what you're talking about because I've done work in Hollywood off and on over the years, going back decades. And when I got my first big break on Fox Network today is not the same as it was in the 1990s. Things have changed. They're far right now. CNN's far left. I remember MSNBC. They used to not be far left. They are far left now. So you have this polarization among the networks. Excuse me. But what I do remember is I met so many producers. They had all these things going, but yet nobody had anything on the air. It kind of cracked me up. So it's kind of like a lot of people who had recorded things, sent in their demos, and the record labels were just not biting. And what I didn't like was the phony celebrity stuff. I'm a real guy. I don't worship the ground that some celebrity walks on. Just doesn't do it for me. I've been to red carpet events, film festivals, etc. I do enjoy those, but I do it in a way where I don't get caught up in the so-called hero worship. And that to me is a bit of a challenge because sometimes those events, they kind of expect you to be all gaga, especially if you're a member of the media. They expect softball questions where I want interesting questions, whether they're softball or not. So let me ask you this. I'm going to tell you what my thought is after you answer it, but not that it matters. But let me ask you this question. Do you consider yourself to be a natural actress? Or are your abilities, or are you an actress because of your training? In other words, there's people who became actors because they got trained, then they got into it. There's other ones who were just born actors. Where do you fall in that?
I think there was a natural ability to want to express myself at a young age, and just kind of not be afraid. So I had that. But training is very key to that, because it's very different to like put a character on, but to be in front of the film and do it in a way that portrays that character is much different than most people would think. Theater is much different. It's both. I think many of us, there's a lot of us that have that ability, but maybe that's not their drive or their passion. So for me, I just really enjoyed expressing myself. I enjoyed being lost in this story and this character. But training is very key to being successful at that too. But I think there are people that are naturals, and that's in every kind of field there is. So, but I think a lot of us have that too. It just depends on if that's your passion or not.
Yeah, my guess is that you were a natural, and then the classes you've taken and the schools have just basically taken this gem known as you and have polished it, and you continue to polish it yourself, which is great.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's certain personalities that just connect with people. Like there's people that enjoy and can make people laugh, and then there's people that they are over there developing the next technology to change something. So yeah, I think a lot of actors that they have it at a young age of expression and just feeling and emotion.
Well, you mentioned technology. You're aware now that an increasing number of films are actually being shot on iPhones because the quality is good enough?
Yes. Well, there was a film that just went through theaters. Yes, I am aware of that. I think that's freaking awesome. But I think you need to know what the hell you're doing to do that too.
You do. I'll give you an example. We went to Prague to film for this series we're doing. The first episode will air, hopefully, it looks like in November. We discussed it before the show, but we were filming in Prague, and it was in the winter in December, and the temperatures were near zero or a little bit below. And we found out the hard way that the batteries in these smartphones aren't good for that kind of weather, because the liquid crystal freezes in there. So we had to...
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologist, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back to the third segment here on Cal's Corner radio show here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. My name is Kal Korff, and I'm your host, and the executive producer of the show, of course, is the one and only Rob McConnell. Folks, I'm sorry I talked a little bit longer than I should have for the break here, so we'll come back to the point here. I was just mentioning to Johanna again the fact that there are more and more movies now, even Hollywood biggies are now using Apple's iPhones to do these movies because the quality is good enough for professional level stuff. And I was telling Johanna that when we were filming in Prague for the new TV series that's going to be on Simul TV, X-Zone Investigates, that we had a problem with the smartphones because we were filming in weather that was 0 degrees or -2 or 3 degrees, and the lithium-ion batteries would freeze. They'd crystallize, and we only got a few minutes of power, so we had to always, go back and warm them up, then go out back to the bridge and film and so on in the snow. So it was a bit of a challenge, but if that's the hardest thing that ever happens to you on a movie production, then it's a good day. So, Johanna, you have a smartphone now and stuff like that, and you are crossing the bridge. You have crossed the bridge now into production. So let me put you on the spot here. If you had to choose only between acting or producing, what would you choose?
I would choose acting.
Okay, but you do both now.
Yes.
So share with us what it's like to have done that. Now, what I'd like you to do is start with, for this segment, what it was like to do your first movie, and then what it was like to do your first movie where you were also a producer.
Okay, so as an actor coming in and doing a movie, I would say I was very selfish at the time and only understood like what I was doing. As a producer, you really learn to gain respect for every single person that's on that project. Every person. Producers, I give my hats off to the producers because there's so much they're dealing with. They're dealing with lots of egos, from the filmmaker to the actors to the other producers, and just trying to get the project done because in their eyes, they want to get it and get it out there and get it seen, as do the actors and stuff. But it's a business side, and you gain a lot of respect for the business of the filmmaking as a producer. And just like as an actor coming in, you don't think of the budget. You don't think like, oh, everyone's having lunch. That just costs like $200 to feed, 5 people. Well, that's like, we're going to shoot for 20 days. That's a lot of that can add up to a lot of money just on like snacks. So just simple things like that. The producer has to have the eye of, knowing a good script, knowing what a director can do, and they also give people chances. So that's I haven't got to that point yet as a producer. I've produced a few short films and a feature film, and producing is interesting. It's an entirely different ballgame. It's so different. It's so different. I cannot even. It's apples and oranges.
Oh, I certainly understand that, and you're 100% right. I assume the answer is yes to this next question, but I assume you feel that being a producer as well helps you as an actress?
That's an interesting question. Being a producer now would help me more in choosing different projects, perhaps. It doesn't necessarily help me as an actor because it's so different, and as an actor, you really have to, have a really good relationship with your director and know what your character is, or the writers of like TV and know what's going on. So I don't think, no, for me, it's two different ball games.
Well, I'm not saying it's not, and I agree because like you, I've had the honor of doing both, as well as directing, editing, writing musical scores, everything, the whole cycle, as they say. But I guess I should ask my question more precisely. When you're a producer, because you have an acting background,
hmm
do you find yourself looking at fellow actors when you're a producer and they're in your productions, and how you should view them, whether they're right for the role, versus say you're just an actor, one of many or one of a few in the film?
Well, for instance, as far as that's interesting. When you've worked with actors and then you see a script and someone's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this character," right away, a person will just pop in your mind. That is
Mhm.
like, that person is that person. They're going to be good for that role. So that's kind of how it is now. Like I'm working on this film, independent action film called High Alerts, and I'm working with the director Rico Lowry, and I'm the lead in it. But there's a lot of positions to fill, and I was like, you know what? There's this actor. They're so good. I know that they're dedicated. They're not going to be late. They're not going to give any problems. They're going to come in. They're going to enjoy the process, and they're going to work hard, and they're going to enjoy this. So
Mhm.
that, as a producer, you really respect talent that comes in and they do their work and they enjoy it and they're professionals. So yeah, as a producer, it's definitely helped me on the business side, and just like knowing, like, that person's right for that role, but they also are a really good person, and they're going to come and they're going to do this and they're going to kick butt and they're going to have fun with it.
Okay. Do you find too that were there any parts of the production, being a producer, that you absolutely didn't like, but you knew you had to do it anyway?
Oh. Yeah.
Or is that another show?
Wow. That is interesting. That's like, well, I went with the production with my last film over to Cannes, and it was for the executive producer, it was very stressful, because it costs a lot of money to get your team over there and to have a booth, and it's like nothing's kind of happening, and you hear a lot of people come by, so it's and then you get the film done, it's like the sound isn't good. Oh, you got to cut the film down. You got to cut these parts out.
Hmm.
It's very different, and like a lot of writers or directors like see their project and then they're like, whoa, that's like only a third of what I did, but they don't understand there's definitely, you have to have a full story. It has to be so many minutes. So you're working with a lot of things that are not exactly on the creative side.
Right, right.
So it's very different. And I've never written a script, and I'm just like, I see writers come in and watch a film, and I'm like, I wonder what that's like to be the writer and then see your script and know like half of that while not even part of their script.
Well,
Or they left out, because I mean, I think the person that's probably very attached to their project would be the writer. They created the story.
yes. In fact, some of them are so committed to it that if you deviate one vowel, they go ballistic.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you real quickly, the approach we're taking in this show, the ones we're doing now for X-Zone Investigates, is the people are themselves or they're extensions of themselves, depending on the storyline that's woven around the expose of the mystery, like whatever subject. We haven't revealed them yet to the audience. But what we do is we let the people use their own words. And as long as the point is communicated, you can say it any way you want.
Oh my gosh.
Well, because, some people are naturally whatever, and you want to capture that. You don't want to hold it back.
Yeah.
So, like this show here that you and I are doing, your answers are your answers, your words are your words. And as long as the message or point is communicated or explained, it doesn't get any better than that. I think if you memorize some elaborate Shakespearean speech, it can hold you back.
Yeah. I think so. In some professions, you definitely need to know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, the idea is you know
Yeah,
what you're saying, but
it's
if you can
awesome.
use
There's nothing better than seeing someone be naturally themselves.
right, bingo. That's the best way to
It
summarize
really
it.
isn't.
So now today, as you're a young adult, you're no longer a young child. Is the genre of films that you're into, that turn you on, that really float your boat, whatever you want to call it, are they the same? Because you've done some sci-fi, horror, slasher type stuff, And that's a far cry from Snow White.
Yeah, I have always loved suspense thriller and stories based on true people. That's really been, or like a story, like a film such as like The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, because it's a story of an individual going through something, something's thrown into their life that is so chaotic and so awful, and somehow they come up and out of it as a warrior, you know? So those are really like, that's like really my love, something like that, where you see a hero, like someone that's just doesn't have a chance, or something's been thrown at them and they come out and survive that. Because I think a lot of people like need to see that, because everyone has moments in their life where they're going through a dark time, and you watch a story or a film like that, and it gives you like motivation, inspiration. It gives you like, you know, some strength to pull from. That's really my love, that. But I love all genres. I love Pixar films. I love comedy. I love to laugh. I miss some of like the Jim Carrey films, because it was just like, you don't have to think. You just sit there and watch, and you're like, that is really funny. But the funny thing is, I've seen that happen, but that is funny. That's really funny. So I like all genres. Horror's fun this month for Halloween. But when it comes to horror films, I really love films like The Shining.
Yeah.
That is probably one of my favorites.
That's absolutely more along the thriller line as well. It's not a slasher film like Friday the 13th.
I'm more of a thriller horror person.
Right.
When it comes to the horror genre, it's a thriller suspense.
And you mentioned X-Files?
Thrillers.
And you mentioned X-Files as well?
No, I did not, but that's a good show.
No, I couldn't hear you, so I wasn't sure what I heard.
Psychological thrillers.
Oh, psychological thrillers. Okay, now I understand. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome.
Right. Okay, we're gonna have to take another commercial break here. It goes by so fast, especially when you're having fun.
Everyone, it was so much fun with you all.
We'll be back after this commercial break.
TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to the fourth and final segment here on Kal's Corner radio show here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Once again, my name is Kal Korff, and I'm your host, and the executive producer of the show is, of course, Rob McConnell. Now, again, our special guest this episode has been American actress Johanna Rae. Time always goes by fast when you do this show, especially when you have fun, and Johanna's been a great guest. Johanna, I'm going to turn this last segment over to you. We're just going to freeform it here.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us about your latest projects, why you did them, what you're up to?
Okay, well, there is a sci-fi film out called Apocalypse Rising. It was a fun film to do because I'm working with the director now on an independent action film called High Alert. So we had already worked together, and he was shooting a film, and he called me up. He's like, hey, there's this role that I think you'd be great for. It's going to be fun. We're just shooting in Louisiana and Shreveport. So I went out and did that film, and that was a lot of fun. I made great friends on the set. The executive producer is really awesome. He's also the writer of it. So that film's out at the moment, and that is kind of, that is a very, I guess it's going to be very, I don't know how to explain it. It's very different. It's like got a lot of everything going on. So at the moment, I'm very excited about my film High Alert. It's an action film. I have a background in track and field. If you've seen the film Run Lola Run, think of that. My character is on a mission. I have very little time to achieve the mission. I don't know if I can't tell you if I get it done or not. And I'm working with Rico Lowry, who's a talented director. So that is what I'm currently working on. And as far as that, I'm studying and just enjoying life. And I also have another film that writer Sandy Chakadarian we have in the works. And it will be a vampire genre type film, but it'll be a psychological thriller horror film. And we are working on, I can't say a lot about that one, but that project I will be excited about.
Now, in this movie that now you finished recently this film, or is it wrapping up?
The High Alert film, we still are shooting on that.
Okay.
The sci-fi film is out now on VOD. The other film that I'm talking about, that is still probably not going to be shooting that until next year.
So it's in pre-production?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Alrighty, well that sounds exciting. And the movie currently available on video on demand is Apocalypse, you said? Apocalypse?
Yeah, Apocalypse Rising.
Apocalypse Rising.
If any of you want to see any of the work that I've done with the other director, there's 2 short films out, and one is a comedy, which is super fun. It's about 6 minutes long. It's called Masterminds. And the other one is, if you think of Rosemary's Baby, it's shot on 35 millimeter film, and it's called Lilitu. And that is kind of just to show you like the different styles and where you go with it. So we're doing an action film, but those two short films are out there to see, and they're really fun to watch. And I enjoyed working on those short films because because sometimes doing a feature film is a lot more challenging, and you get to do a short film and kind of showcase a small bit of like what this story could be.
How do you feel about doing, say, a TV show, which would be probably 46 to 50 minutes?
I think the TV shows are amazing. Right now, I'm like stuck on. Well, my roommate, she got me on The Office, which I kind of caught it a little late. I think that show is amazing, but I'm also watching Ozark at this moment, and that I can't like push. Those are amazing. The performance, the stories, everything about them, and it's just like Ozark is. I'm doing season 1 at the moment, and I know season 2 has started, but it's just like so many things happening. You're like, wow.
You you first started, I think, if I remember correctly, you had put on Facebook a couple years ago. You were in some segments on a TV show, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was a little show called Sessions with Agnes and Estelle was one of them, and then I was in a pilot. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It was called Sin. It was a really cool pilot. But at the moment they're on hold with that because they may make that a feature film. So.
Hmm.
That is the part about this industry that's very interesting. You go to work, you do your job, but you don't know what's going to happen with it.
Oh, I understand. I remember
Yeah,
one.
and it's funny. There's like sometimes I've had like a film that I did like before I even knew what acting really was all about, and they came out like 6 years later. I'm like, yeah, I don't. That's not me anymore.
Oh, I totally understand. It's the same with book publishing. I remember, you write the book, you might spend a couple of years on it, and then it finally comes out on the shelf, and it doesn't feel real to you until you see it on the shelf in the bookstore, and you're
Ah,
like, wow, I did that, or I'm part of it, or whatever.
uh-huh.
Uh, so you have those projects going on, and you said you're continuing to do studying, and that's at the Kirsch School of Acting?
Yes, I
Hmm.
studied there, and as far as an actor, it's like being a basketball player, a golf player. You don't stop studying your craft. You go.
Right.
It's like you don't see like LeBron James is going to be at practice 5 days a week, and then
Hmm.
play the game that we all watch. So yeah, it's a continuous thing and a continuous journey, and you you never are ever your best. You're always growing and becoming better and
Yeah,
change.
very,
Yeah.
very, very true. So let's say that there are young people here, who will listen to the show around the world. As you know, it broadcasts around the world. What advice would you give to, especially women who want to be an actress or want to do both actress and producing? What would be your best advice for them?
Go out there and just, first of all, go out there and do it. Don't let anyone, if that is your passion, go and do it. Go to different studios, train. It may not be the studio that may not be the right coach for you, but you're going to meet a lot of people along the way. Integrity, honesty with yourself. And don't listen to what people say, but throw that over the wall and go with what your gut and how you feel is. No one has the answer. No one has the answer. Yes, there's people who've done it, but like, I mean, you don't know what everything's changing. But I would say just dedication, keep like go learn different things, try different things, don't be afraid to do them. And if you are afraid to do them, find a safe place and try it. And don't be afraid to speak up. I was very shy, so I didn't ask questions, and just practice it, practice asking questions, and don't just listen to what people say and go with it, because there's a lot of people that don't have the correct information for you out there. So there's a lot of resources, and dedication and working on the craft is number one. And read a lot of books, watch a lot of films, travel, meet people, and you're going to find the path for you. So I don't think no one has the answer for me, and I don't have the answer for you, but just dedication, integrity, and honesty with yourself is number one.
Well, I think that's some very good advice. Thanks for sharing it. Let me ask you this, though. When you watch a movie now, especially being an actress and producer, so you see the mechanics more than just an actor would. How does it affect when you view films? Because I find, for example, especially when we do these special effects, I look at some of the other movies, done by Marvel and so on, and I find myself having to force myself to try to enjoy the movie rather than take it apart technically. Oh, I know how they did that. We use the same technique, blah, blah, blah. How do you manage to walk that fine line?
I think that's the key in having an amazing film is when all the elements fall in place and are done to perfection, you don't think about that stuff. When the story is so well done, when the performances is so done so well, the production, everything, I don't think about that. But when there's like maybe the storyline isn't good, but I like the actor that's doing it, or the actor is like maybe not captivating me, then I think about those things.
Okay.
When I was like, for instance, one of Silence of the Lamb was one of my favorite films when I was growing up, and when I watch that film today, I don't look at those elements because I'm so lost in the film.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I just, especially in the area of special effects, because we're now using them, of course.
Yeah,
And
I like. Yeah. I did it. Yeah. What was the last? Mad Max was a really good example. Like they just did an awesome job on all that.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do with even if you wrap a green screen around your arm, like Charlize Theron had to do. They totally CGI'd the.
Yeah, and that was amazing. So yeah, I see what you're saying though. Sometimes I'm like, it can take you out of the film, but if it's done to like such an amazing level, it doesn't. You're just more in awe of it. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right. If you walk away saying, "Wow, how did they do it?" or you have no idea that you were looking at an effect versus something real, then of course they've achieved the ultimate in filmmaking. They've managed to fool you and totally immerse you, which
Right.
is the whole point. We're almost out of time here, Johanna. Do you want to say anything before we end tonight's show? And again, we'll have you back and try to have you on the show later as well for TV. So, and again, I thank you. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
I would just say, hey everyone, like it was great, had fun, and hope that you all are enjoying your evening out there. And yeah, life is awesome.
Can you rattle off a couple of your films again and let people know where they can get them?
Yes, Papa's Rising. And then there is, there'll be High Alert coming up. There is a show called Sin. It's not out anymore, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. You can go check out Lilith 2, Masterminds, and there'll be a film called President Evil coming out and releasing next month. It is I make a cameo appearance in the first of the film, and it's with the producers and director that I'm working with. So it'll be fun.
It's President Evil, not Resident Evil.
President Evil. It is a spoof, and yes, it's called President Evil. Use your imagination there, everyone.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We'll definitely do this again, and let's stay in touch. And just thank you very much, and I wish you the best.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.